What's going on? It's your boy, Brother Al, aka Al the Electrician. But you can just call me Brother Al, and I'm back with another one. Alright, sorry for the wait, but I'm back. I'm not working as much hours, so I'm able to do a little bit more content creating, so that's good. So, the topic today I just want to hit on is why are black people, why are we the only demographic, why are we the only group of people, race, whatever words you want to use, why are we the only ones expected to vote only one way? You know, I used to grow up as a child. I always was like into news and current events, right? They used to call it current events when I was coming up, and you even had to do little reports and stuff about current events back in school. So, but anyways, I used to watch news, and you will always see these polls about the black vote. The black vote. He's got, this candidate has 80% of the black vote, or whatever the case may be, right? And over time, it started to click to me like, okay, well, you have basically the country has kind of always kind of been split down the middle. Growing up, it was when I was growing up, it was like center left. Democrats pretty much ruled during the '90s. A good point with Clinton. Um, you had Bush for 2 terms, and you had Obama for another 2 terms. But it's really during those Clinton years that I grew up in the '90s. I'm born in the '80s, but during the '90s, it was like center left, and so everything was kind of given through a leftist skew anyway. And so we kind of just went with the program, like, oh, it's the black vote. Blacks tend to vote Democrat, so that's the way that I'm gonna vote. I guess they look out for our people the most, and that was the train of thought, and that is still the pervasive train of thought. But something dawned on me where I'm like, okay, well, the country's kind of split down the middle, mostly white. I know nowadays, if you count everybody and all the different ethnicities, mainly because of the mass influx of Latinos coming into the country. Now, whites collectively, with all the other minorities added, are not the majority. But, anyways, I say all that to say that even so, the white vote is kind of split pretty much kind of down the middle, where half vote Republican and half vote Democrat. Um, and also with a lot of other different ethnicities. With Latinos, with like they used to vote mostly Republican. It's funny how everybody used to vote Republican, right? Even with the black vote, we used to vote Republican up until about the 1960s, and I got a story about how that changed too. But anyways, and it's a true story. It's not about they just woke up one day and just decided to switch ideologies. All right, but anyways, like a lot of Latinos vote Democrat, obviously because of the giveaway of the free come in no borders policy, and free healthcare and free flights to the United States and free hotels and all of this free stuff, right? So a lot of them vote for that to get all of that free stuff. And then a lot of them vote Republican because they have those traditional Christian values and good morals and stuff like that. They just can't get with a lot of the wackiness that you see from the Democrats, like 99 genders and all of this weird stuff, right? That's just not natural. So a lot of different groups, even with the Jews, whatever group you want to say, all right? And I hate talking about all of these identities, all right? Because I don't really like identity politics. But I talk about it because we're talking about the Democrat Party, right? And why we seem to be the only ones that just gotta vote 100%, 99% Democrat. And if you don't vote that way, then you're considered as a sellout. And I seen this today, like, and that's why I'm making this video, because I saw in one of the comments on another video, oh, this black conservative is a sellout. Why is he a sellout? Because he got to vote the way that you told him to vote. I mean, last time I checked, this is a Democrat free country, where we have a Democrat republic, constitutional democratic republic, and we're free to vote the way that we choose. But for some reason, if you're black, if you look like me, you're wrong. You're a sellout. All of the slurs that they say, coon, whatever the case may be, or Uncle Tom, because you didn't vote the way how your grandma voted, or you didn't vote the way how everybody else voted. I wonder if during the 1960s, if black people were sellouts when they decided all of a sudden to vote Democrat. Because prior to the 60s, black people voted the majority of black people voted Republican. And that was ever since the Civil War. Why? Because Abraham Lincoln was of the Republican Party. And you can say, oh, that was so long ago, but really all the way up into the 1960s, which really wasn't that long ago. That was like less than 90 years ago. Some people were still alive. A lot of people still alive during that time. That could actually vote during those times. All right. And they saw their parents voted, and their parents always voted Republican. Why? Because black people were brought up on Republican values. What are those? Those are Christianity. Those are courtesy, traditional values, strong family-oriented values. And it wasn't until we made this switch to the more liberal party, to the more revolutionary party, the party that pushed communism, the party that pushed all of these things. And notice I haven't said civil rights because the Civil Rights Bill was actually passed. And now y'all can think I'm lying about this, but the Library of Congress, Congress voting records are all public. I am not lying. Stop being intellectually lazy and do the research for yourself. But the Civil Rights Bill was made possible by Republican senators, Republican congressmen that got that bill passed. The Democrats did not want to pass the Civil Rights Bill. They filibustered it. And then because it was a Democrat president in office, he only signed it because he knew, and he understood black folks, and he knew that if he signed that, he said that I'm going to have the N-words voting for us for the next 200 years. All right. He said that we lost the white vote in the South. The Democrats, we lost the white vote in the South because they used to have the white vote in the South. Okay. But he said, but now with this Civil Rights Bill, what we lost in the South, we can gain that back by gaining all of the black vote. That'll add another 13% to our vote with this signing of the Civil Rights Act. All right, and another main reason, because you gotta remember, somebody had to push this. You had MLK pushing the Democrat Party, pushing blacks to vote for Democrats. Why? Because when he was arrested, he had sent out a letter to the Republicans. And the Republicans never gave that message to the higher ups. But when he gave it to the Democrats, the Democrat responded and was able to get him out of jail. And ever since then, that's when the black vote switched. That's when they start pushing, oh, Republicans don't care about us, but the Democrats, they're willing to help us. And when in reality, it was the Republicans that really did the most. And that's why to this day, a lot of Republicans look at black folks like they don't understand. Like that's why a lot of them, especially like your older ones, have animosity. I'm not saying racism, but they have like animosity towards black people because they're like, look, we did all of this. We voted for these guys to give y'all all these rights. And then y'all turn around and vote Democrat and said that we the racist ones. And so, but a lot of black people do not know this, and it's been kept hush-hush, but it's history. It's in all of in the Congressional Library, all of that stuff. You got to do real research, and you can't just rely on the lies and the propaganda that's been pushed for so long. All right. But I just always found it weird that while we as black people are expected to only do one way, that's a very bad stereotype, and sadly, it's true, really, because we living up to it, voting one way just because everybody told us to. That's because mama and pop and them did it like that, and but they had the courage to change their vote because they thought that they were going to get all of these rights and stuff, which we did, but those rights really weren't much or anything that we didn't already have ourselves, um, and everything. And really, the civil rights bill got hijacked by all of these other groups. Then that's when you had the women coming in. The women already had their rights from the 1920s during the women's suffrage movement. But then a lot of white liberal women moved in and kind of hijacked the movement to get even more rights for themselves. And so now, like, the civil rights bill is seen as LGBTQ, it's seen as trans, it's seen as for white women. Now they got the Latinos and Hispanics lumped in with it. So it's just become like, now we're like literally like moved to the back of the line as far as getting rights for black folk, when it's lumped in with the Civil Rights Act and with all this stuff that Democrats are trying to push. But really, they're pushing everybody else and putting black folk to the back of the line. And black people got to wake up and see that your greatest resource is within God. And as he empowers, as he lives and dwells in you, the Holy Spirit lives and dwells in you, and you do for yourself, okay? That is the greatest resource. I've got way more than I ever did, pushing, grinding, working all these hours, doing what I got to do, saving, investing in the stock market. I got way more than what the government will ever give me in a reparation. While you sitting there waiting with your hand out for the government to give you something, I've gotten way, way more going out there grinding on my own in the freest country in the world. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. I want to know what you think. I read all the comments. You have a good one. Peace and blessings.